This lecture is related to standard 10 and subject SST Geography. Chapter is that resource and development, and subtopics is that the resource planning and resource planning in India. Previously, already we understood that the classification of resources, definition of resources, development of resources in our country. All of these issues were concerning during previous classes. During these classes, we are going to study on the resource planning and resource planning in India and resource conservation also. So first of all, we should discuss on resource planning. Actually, resource provide vital for development of countries because all types of development may based on different resources also. So resource provided the vital role for development of country, development of the country. So in this regard, resource planning is very, very necessary if we want to develop our country, India. So resource planning is more applicable than all other features. In this regard, planning is a strategy for the judicious use of resources. Judicious use means we use resources in sufficient mode. So this is considered as the judicious use. And resources which are very, very important for developing the nations also. So we should adopt the planning strategy for developing the nation. Next thing is that already you understood that we are Indians and the country India where a great diversifications are found in the availability of the resources. In some parts of India where a lot of resources are found, and while some other parts of India where resources are found in very scarce amount, very little amount. For the state like Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand, in these states where mineral resources are found in abundance amount. On the other hand, the states like Arunachal Pradesh where water resources are found in abundance amount, but in other fields of resources like infrastructural development, infrastructure of these states are very weak. That provided the diversification of the resources that are found in our country. So the country like India where enormous diversifications are found, enormous diversity are found. So planning strategy is more applicable for the country like India where the resource availability is uneven. In this regard, if we want to planning of resources, if we want to planning of resources, the first there are three processes are involved. Actually, resource planning is complex process, no doubt. It is very complex, very jatil process, very jatil prakriya, but it have involved three steps. First is that identification and inventory of resources across the regions of the country. It means we should identify the resources, means what resources are found and that resources are found which type of usability, utility for the country. So it is the identification of resources is must, and inventory. If we invent different resources, then we can utilize these resources very well in the country. So in this regarded, identification and inventory is must for the country. And in this process, surveying, mapping, quantitative and qualitative estimation of resources is must, and measurement of resources is also must. Measurement of resources, which means what amounts of resources, what amounts of minerals, and what other amounts of other minerals are found. Estimation, which means what amount, what are their quality, and mapping, in which region, in which direction, where resources are found. And surveying, which means in what all the aspects that are found in our country, all are included in surveying system. So this is the first step, this is the first process if we want to plan the resources in our country. Second is that evolving a planning structure endowed with appropriate technology. It means if we want to adopt the planning structure, then we should require appropriate technology. Means appropriate technology means how we mines out the minerals, and what are their utilization in a factory or in a factories and plants. So these are related to the technology. So we should have appropriate technology. Skillness is also very, very necessary, because the skill we can't make them as a resources. So, and institutional setup means many universities and many colleges that are set up in our country that provide different technological assets and different technological knowledges provided to the people, and people which use this technology and utilize this technology for betterment of the industry and betterment of the resource planning. So it is set up for implementing the resource development plan. It means the resource development plan that are set up in our country, we should match them. We should require this type of technology, skill, institutional setup. In third steps for the resource planning is that matching the resource development plan. Means in the rural regions, in the regional level, where resource development planning, what are adopted by the people or by the governing agency, it should be matched with overall national development plan, and after that our country become more and more valuable, more and more developed. Do you know that if we get independence from 1947, and after that 1951, when 1950, when our constitution may adopted, may enforced, implemented in our country, after that our governing authorities decided that we should create development in our country during a 5-year plan. So first 5-year plan, which introduced in our country, first 5-year plan introduced in our country, and in this plan we made concerted efforts for the achieving the goal for the resource planning. We plan the resources utilization, resources conservation, resources implementation. All of these are created under this 5-year plan. This 5-year plan is now considered as the Niti Aayog also. So, if we adopt these things, adopt these process, adopt these steps, then we should better utilize the resources for the country, for developing the country, and for boosting up of the country India. So these are very, very important for the country. Next thing is that if resources are found in abundance amount, so, and second things is that are found in abundance amount, but we, many people, and we the Indians utilize them and overutilize them, and irrational consumption irrational consumptions and overutilization of these resources create a scarcity of resources. So it is must, so we should consider on conservation of resources. And already you understood that resource provide vital role for developing the nations, but the many authority and many authentic person and many authentic department create irrational consumptions and overutilization of the resources. So, and due to this over irrational consumptions and overutilizations, they may lead to socio-economic and environmental problems. Socio-economic problems means the persons which have authenticity to utilize resources and become more and more rich, while on the other hand, those people who can't utilize the resources because they have no authority to utilize the resources, to mine the resources, so they become extremely poor. So it creates socio-economic economic problems for the country. And if many industrial units and the transportation infrastructure utilize more and more petroleum products and provided the pollution, and this pollution created environmental problems. So, and already you understood that due to pollution, all the cities of our countries were close to the normal pollution, and create irritation and ear problems and many others, and breath-borne diseases. So we should conserve the resources. So resources conservation is must for the country like India, which is in developing state, and it is necessary. Mahatma Gandhi, who are our thinkers, who said that there are enough resources are found in our country, but if we want to fulfill our greed, there are no resources are found in this country. So it is very, very attentive. We should become more and more attentive on resources and provide the bright future for the nations if we adopt the different steps of conservation of resources, and our country become boosting up, our country become have more bright future. Thank you very much.